my scrappy friends, I wanted to get on real quick and do a talk through this video. I'm going to be making a layout for the Love of Homemade kits, but I'm doing something really different this time. I'm going to make a layout without having a photo as in my layout. So I want to document a story about something that I did when I was a kid. I made a TeePee. And so when I was looking for stuff for my kits, I had decided that I wanted to document the story. I don't know why, it just popped in my head. So, you know, when you have ideas like that, you just go with them, right? Because that's how it is when you're a scrapbooker. So one of the papers that I had picked for my kit, well, let's see. I should have been a little bit more prepared and actually had that piece out, huh? So I was thinking maybe I might use that one, but I also have okay, so I also have this that was in my kit, and I put these in my kits. So obviously this is really, really bold. This is really bold, and this is really bold too. How I'm going to get all of them on a layout, I don't know. But I really want to use this as my main part of my main paper. So we'll see how it works. With the rest of the stuff that I have in my kit, I may very well decide to do like an 8.5 by 11 or a 6 by 12 paper. I don't know. We'll have to see. Probably, I don't know if I'll do 6 by 12 because then I can't use this. Maybe I may very well take this and put it on the bottom half of a page and then do some stuff with this. I also have some different kinds of feathers and stuff that I had previously cut out. Of course, they're getting all smushed because did I think to put them separately? No. Of course not. I also have some other feathers that may or may not they may or may not end up in here or not, but there's something that I have. And I also grabbed, and this is not from my kit, but I also grabbed this sheet because it has a TeePee in it. So I'm thinking that I'll probably use this somewhere in there so that I can use that up. I know that I had a couple of pieces from a while ago that were actually from the Journey collection, and I think I might have them in here. Let's see. Like, I have that one from the Journey collection, these ones, and that color. But I don't know. So I may very well use something like that kind of stuff too. I might add that to my kit this month just because I want to tell the specific story. And I think that sometimes we're afraid to tell a story that we have that doesn't have a picture because it doesn't have a picture. And I doubt I'll forget me doing this, but the fact that I remembered it now and thought, hey, I should document it. I want to document it while I'm remembering. I should document it because otherwise it could be years and years and years before I actually get this story documented. I will probably never have a picture. I'm pretty sure I don't have a picture of that TeePee that I actually built. I may, and I might quickly go look through some old photos to see if I have a picture of my yard, because then at least I could use that. But I will have to look to see if I have something. And if I have that, I might add that to there just so that I have a picture of that yard. But I'm not sure exactly if I do or not. So I know I have some old pictures of my grandmother's yard, which I took in February, or I say old pictures. I have some pictures that I took in February of my grandmother's yard that I wanted to tell some child stories about that. But I think I'm going to save those for something else. But anyway, I thought it would be really fun to do a layout without a photo anyway, since I don't have the photo. So I hope you guys are excited about me using this stuff, and hopefully I can add some of this other stuff that I have in my kit too, to just tell a story on a layout. I'll be back. I have decided that I will use a 12 by 12 sheet for this layout. And I also decided that I wanted to scrap lift myself. So I'm going to use that layout that you've seen at the very beginning as my jumping off starting point. I did that layout, oh gosh, a couple of months ago maybe, for the Crafty Maven, and actually that was also a scrap lift. So this is a scrap lift of a scrap lift that I seen on Pinterest. If I can find the pin, I'll put it in the link below. But I couldn't find, like, when I thought when I found the pin, I couldn't find the actual layout. But it's a really fun layout, but it's very, the original was very clean and white with the little pops. So I'm definitely doing this quite a bit different by using more of the stuff that I like to use, more bold papers. But I am toning it down a little bit, and by using just a block of that TeePee paper, it really draws your eye there, but then it's a good place to put my story onto, and because I'm just doing a story, I don't have to worry about adding my photo and how that's going to cover up all the paper. And it actually works really well because it covers up a lot of the paper, so your eye knows that all that pattern is there, but it's not so crazy. And because I do have quite a bit of white, it's not so bad. So right now I'm working on some banners down at the bottom because that's how the layout that I scrap lifted was, and I'm just taking multiple layers of banners and just putting them together. And I was going to use that first vellum that was like grass or something, like summertime grass, like in a field of grass. Especially where I grew up, empty lots would just, because people would have really big yards. There is lots of open space. I grew up in upstate New York around Albany area, so it's really like the middle of the state, but it's the lower half of upstate New York. Unless you're from New York City, and then I'm very upstate. Okay, so I really wanted to add one of these Pink Fresh Studio acetate words because they're really fun and it adds a layer without being like really crazy. Of course, I couldn't find the other packs. So I have two packs because I got them in kits, and I couldn't find the second pack. So I don't know what happened to it. It's somewhere in with my stuff somewhere. But this was the first pack that I got, and there wasn't that many words in it. And so I was kind of, while I was making this, I was kind of annoyed because I looked through everything like 3 times, even though I knew I had the second pack somewhere, but all I could find was that. But in the end, I really like how the awesome goes vertical. It kind of brings your eye down to that other spot, and it connects that banner spot up to the top part, to the top. And I just layer some other ephemera. I use that car piece because I don't really want to, I don't know. I don't do too many layouts about us traveling because we do have times where we've traveled, and I could definitely want to scrapbook a few of those, but they're more plane related, and so yeah. So I just left a little teeny tiny bit of that piece, and it's just a little bit of a word, like the numbers, so you can't see the car, and it works out perfectly because it just adds something without being really crazy. Now, these banners that I'm working on, I don't know if you can notice, but they were embossed. I used an embossing folder at the beginning of when I was going to do, actually, I'm trying to think if I did it before I did this layout or if it might have been a different day. I just took a whole bunch of strips of paper and I embossed them. I have one embossing folder, and it's one from Amy Tan Stitched, and it has these beautiful hearts that are stitched, and it's really fun. And this was a way for me to add something to this layout that had texture but wasn't overpowering, because that background paper is pretty crazy. And I'm going to be adding a couple of layers at the top and the bottom of that paper, because that's how it was in my scrap lift, or the original that I used to scrap lift. So I'm picking out colors that are similar to the colors that are in that paper, so it kind of doesn't go all crazy. And now I know that that feather paper up at the top, which you can't see, well, now you can see it, is a little bit bright, and I'm okay with that. I mean, it's not my favorite element on the layout because it is a little bit of a different color, but I really do like it. And you'll see me later, I end up putting another piece of pattern paper over top of it, and it really kind of helped tones it down. I use a pink dot from Chamel or something, I think is what I use. I'm not sure if that part ended up in the video, because I think some of this I was working on it and I didn't realize that I didn't have the whole thing taped. Because, you know, only I would do that. Now, I'm sure all of us who have done videos has started scrapbooking and realized, oh, wait, I haven't been taping, and I've been scrapbooking for like 15 minutes now. So, and I did these really, really thin because I only wanted just a very teeny tiny bit of the pattern to show, mostly just for the color, just to add those pops of color. And it just adds like a little fun element. I mean, I could have did without this, but it's just kind of fun. So I'm just trying to see exactly where I want to put them, how far I want to put it, how much of the pattern I want to show. I think at some point I realized that that feather paper needed to be cut down. I want to say I think I cut it down a little bit even more, but I'm not positive about that. So I do kind of rumple the sides of that. So here, yeah, here you go. You can see that I added another strip of paper up at the top, and I just like kind of like how it tones down. It brings out the pink that's on that background. And then I took out another piece of Journey paper that I had that was more of that yellow color, so to bring in some of that yellow back in, and I put my journaling on the back of that, and then I'm going to put it on this fringe paper. So I'm layering those two, so you get that pink and you get the yellow color. And then I remembered that I had these acetate tags. Remember last year when all the companies were doing acetate tags and stuff? I have many of them, because how many times do you need an acetate tag? I thought about using this wood piece from Pink Fresh Studio because it kind of has that outdoorsy feel because it's wood, but in the end it just ends up being just a little bit too much for me. And so I'm working on the title, and I used the Journey tile stickers from that sticker sheet, and then I'm gonna use TeePee in this white, and I kept it white, and I really kept it that way because I thought that it would help mimic and help just kind of tone down, because there is a lot of pattern and a lot of color going on, even though I've done layouts with way more pattern and stuff. I really want it to be about the story, and I really want people to want to read the story and not be overwhelmed by this craziness. Now, on the Wonder Collection chipboard sheet, there is this tent that is on the sheet, and because I'm talking about teepees and it makes me think about camping, I decided to put it on here too. It ties in just another element. It puts in another dimensional element, and I like it. It tones down that that tag a little bit. So here's where I decide to take that off, and I use a puffy sticker from the Dear Lizzie. It kind of helped me use a little bit of some of the other stuff that I had in my kit, because I have a lot of stuff in this kit and I haven't really used it that much. I could probably make another 4 layouts, almost. Well, maybe not 4, but I could make quite a bit of layouts with this. I use my stapler at the bottom, and I've just been kind of obsessed with using my stapler lately. I really have. So I'm going to add some of these little pieces. I'm just kind of trying to figure out where I want. Some of them are from the Journey collection, and then these ones are from Fancy Pants. But anywho, I think this is the part of the layout where I tell you, don't forget to go check out the other ladies who are doing this series with me. Khristina, Sara Scraps, and Felicia all have videos that are posting today as well. And so I hope you go check them out. I will have their links to their channels below so you can see what they created with their kits. And we used the fringe hearts as our inspiration. So if you remember, that paper that was the pink actually was that fringe paper that goes along. So that was the one thing that kind of tied in. This actually had a really different feel than some of my other stuff that I did with this kit so far. And I like that. I like when you can use a kit and have it kind of feel entirely different than some of the other stuff. I did add that burlap heart to the bottom, and I was thinking about adding it up to the top, but I didn't care for it. So here is the finished layout. I absolutely love how this turned out. I typed out my my journaling and then just printed it on my off of my computer. So it really made it nice so you can read it really well, and I did a fun little font and, you know, happy and fun. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys are loving the series, because we absolutely love it. We're going to be coming back soon for a whole new kit coming up in a couple of weeks, but I will see you guys later and have a great week.